We've all seen the movies, read the books, and played the video games. From the shuffling undead in The Walking Dead to the fast-moving infected of World War Z, zombies have become an iconic part of our pop culture. But what if I told you that the idea of a zombie virus isn't as far-fetched as it seems? In this video, we're going to explore the science behind real-life zombie viruses, uncover terrifying examples from nature, and investigate whether a zombie apocalypse could actually happen. What is a zombie virus? Before we dive into the possibilities of a real-life zombie virus, let's clarify what we mean by zombie virus. In fiction, zombies are typically depicted as reanimated corpses or infected individuals who lose all higher brain function and act solely on the instinct to feed. They're often contagious, aggressive, and incredibly difficult to stop. In the real world, a zombie virus would be a pathogen, either a virus, bacteria, fungus, or parasite that hijacks the brain, overrides its normal functions, and turns the host into something unrecognizable. The question is, could such a virus exist? Examples of zombie behavior in Naruto answer that. We can look at examples in the animal kingdom where zombie-like behavior already occurs. Some organisms have evolved to control the bodies and minds of their hosts in ways that are disturbingly similar to the zombie tropes we see in fiction. Let's explore a few of these real-life zombie makers. 1. The cordyceps fungus. Zombie of the most famous examples of a zombie virus in nature is the Cordyceps unilateralis, better known as the cordyceps fungus. This parasitic fungus primarily infects ants, and its life cycle is straight out of a horror movie. When an ant comes into contact with the spores of the cordyceps fungus, the spores penetrate its exoskeleton and begin growing inside its body. The fungus takes control of the ant's central nervous system, manipulating the ant's behavior in horrifying ways. Under the fungus's control, the infected ant will leave its colony, climb to the top of a plant, and latch onto a leaf or branch with its mandibles. It stays there helpless, as the fungus continues to grow, eventually killing the ant and sprouting out of its body. This process ensures that the fungus has the ideal environment to release more spores and infect other ants below. The cordyceps fungus essentially turns ants into mindless zombies, driven to carry out the fungus's bidding. While it's fascinating and terrifying, it's important to note that this fungus only affects ants. But what if a similar parasite or pathogen could target humans? 2. Rabies, a real-life virus with zombie-like symptoms. One of the most realistic contenders for a zombie virus in humans is rabies. Rabies is a viral disease that affects the central nervous system, causing inflammation of the brain. Once symptoms appear, rabies is almost always fatal. Rabies is typically transmitted through the bite of an infected animal, and it has some unsettling parallels with the zombie trope. In the later stages of the disease, rabies causes symptoms such as aggression, confusion, hallucinations, and violent fits. Infected animals and humans become uncontrollably aggressive and prone to biting others, which is how the virus spreads. Fortunately, rabies doesn't reanimate the dead, nor does it turn its victims into brain-dead monsters. However, its ability to cause aggressive behavior and spread through bites makes it a chilling, real-world example of how a virus could mimic aspects of the zombie archetype. What's more concerning is that rabies can mutate, and while the likelihood of a mutation that turns humans into full-blown zombies is incredibly low, the idea that a virus could manipulate behavior in ways similar to rabies isn't entirely out of the realm of possibility. 3. Toxoplasmosis. The mind-altering parasite Toxomal gondii is another parasite that demonstrates nature's ability to manipulate the mind. This single-celled organism infects a wide range of animals, including humans, but its primary target is rodents. Toxoplasmosis alters the behavior of infected rodents, making them less fearful of predators, particularly cats. Infected rodents are more likely to engage in risky behaviors, such as wandering into the open or approaching cats, which increases the likelihood that they'll be eaten. The parasite then completes its life cycle in the digestive system of the cat. While toxoplasmosis doesn't turn humans into zombies, it has been linked to subtle behavioral changes in people. Some studies suggest that humans infected with toxoplasmosis are more likely to take risks, exhibit impulsive behavior, and even have higher rates of accidents. Could a parasite like Toxoplasma gondii evolve to have more severe effects on human behavior? It's unlikely, but not impossible. Parasites have been shaping the behavior of their hosts for millions of years, and we're only just beginning to understand the ways in which they can influence the mind. Could a zombie virus infect humans? Now that we've looked at some examples from nature, let's explore the big question. Could a zombie virus infect humans and cause an outbreak similar to what we see in movies? 1. Viral mutations. The idea of a virus mutating to cause zombie-like behavior isn't entirely far-fetched. As we've seen with rabies and other viruses, pathogens have the ability to affect the brain and behavior. However, for a virus to create the classic zombie, we're familiar with one that causes widespread aggression, mindlessness, and contagiousness. It would need to undergo significant mutations. For instance, a virus like rabies would have to evolve to spread more quickly and efficiently. It would need to shorten the incubation period, become airborne or spread through casual contact, and alter the brain in ways that induce extreme aggression and loss of higher cognitive functions. The chances of all these mutations occurring naturally are extremely low, but as we've seen in the past, viruses can mutate in unexpected ways, and pathogens like SARS-CoV-2 have shown us how rapidly a virus can spread and adapt. 2. Biotechnology and bioengineering. If a natural zombie virus seems unlikely, what about the possibility of human-made viruses? Advances in biotechnology and genetic engineering have opened the door to the creation of synthetic organisms, including viruses, that could be weaponized or altered in ways that affect human behavior. While the creation of a zombie virus isn't something that's happening in any legitimate labs today, it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility. Governments and institutions around the world have strict regulations and ethical guidelines to prevent such research, but the potential for bioterrorism or an accidental outbreak from an engineered virus is something that some scientists have warned about. Could a zombie outbreak really happen? So, after exploring all these possibilities, could a zombie outbreak actually happen in real life? The short answer is that while it's highly unlikely, the concept isn't entirely outside the realm of possibility. Nature has shown us that pathogens and parasites can manipulate behavior in terrifying ways, and the potential for viral mutations or bioengineered viruses could, in theory, create something similar to the zombie scenarios we see in fiction. However, most experts agree that a full-blown zombie apocalypse, where millions of people are turned into flesh-eating, brain-dead monsters, is not something we need to worry about. The science of real-world viruses and parasites simply doesn't support the possibility of such an event. That said, studying these organisms does give us valuable insight into how viruses and parasites affect the brain and behavior, and it highlights the importance of staying vigilant about emerging diseases and potential bioengineering risks. Lessons from nature. Staying prepared for future outbreaks. While a zombie virus may remain firmly in the realm of fiction, the examples we've explored in this video demonstrate how little we truly understand about the potential of viruses, parasites, and other pathogens to affect human behavior. As we continue to learn more about the natural world and the ways in which these organisms interact with their hosts, it's clear that we should remain cautious and prepared for future pandemics or outbreaks that could have serious consequences. In the end, it's not zombies we need to worry about, but rather the continued evolution of viruses and parasites, and the potential for human intervention, whether intentional or accidental, to create new threats. Conclusion. The truth about zombie virus. While the idea of a zombie virus is terrifying, the truth is that the pathogens we see in nature, though disturbing, are not likely to lead to a global outbreak of the undead. However, they do offer a chilling glimpse into how viruses and parasites can manipulate behavior, sometimes in ways that are eerily similar to the zombies of our nightmares. So, while you probably don't need to prepare for a zombie apocalypse, the real lesson here is to stay informed, stay prepared, and always be aware of the threats that exist in the microscopic world around us. Because in the end, the scariest monsters may not be the ones that rise from the dead, but the ones we can't even see.